Sir, please begin.
Hello, is it my voice is coming?
Yes, sir, completely.
Okay, can uh, or there is no audiences?
So the audiences are on the Facebook Live and we are live.
Okay, okay, problem. Starting sharing my screen. Hello, good morning everyone. Today is I will going to cover exploring data wrangling using Python. My name is Mr. Daryavas and I am managing director of Sri Drashti Infotech LLP. So today we will cover what is data wrangling, what is Google Colab, start programming sessions, and job opportunities for the data. So first of all, what is data? So data wrangling is otherwise known as a pre-processing. It is a key component of any data. So as we have the in industries, in medicals, there is a huge amount of data. So we have to pre-process it. We have to remove the null. We have to remove the unwanted data, unwanted columns, and then it will be a use for further ML or process. Then wrangling is a process where one transform rows data for making it more suitable for analysis. It will improve the quality of data. Find, load, and clean. So where can I get the data from? So here is the client data and the public data. There is a two type of data. That is client that give you a data as well as the public data publicly available like sites and elsewhere. The public data are we are getting from the GitHub. That is awesome public data. Then pattern classification data. The government website is are also available. That are the government.in.uk.sg. The every government have make it their data for the website. You can also search it on Google's and ask from the humans. So what first of all data as we have seen load the data into a program or else. So files and the databases. So first of all, the files that is come for the data, that is the CSV, TSV, PSV in the text format, in the markup language format, in spreadsheets, in special HDFS graphs, unstructured data, and the databases is like data frames, SQL servers, then HFS data, big queries, then API tweeters. So the loading data into the programs. That. So now, what is the how do I fix the data issues? So for that, check all the activities. When we receive the data, we find the pattern of the things that go wrong. This can be fixed in special ways. Here first, the fix the rows and columns, fix the machine values, standardize the value, fix invalid values, and then filter the data. After this check, if the data is complete, the sufficient to solve the problems. So fix rows and columns, so for that, deleting incorrect rows, deleting summary rows, deleting extra rows, and then the add the column names if the missing, rename the column names, delete the unnecessary columns, split the column, then merge the column and align the misalignment columns. Then fix the missing values. For that, set the value of missing values, fill the missing value with, or removing the missing value with. Then fill the partial missing values, then standardized value. Standardized value that means okay, removing the outliers. That is we have the high and low the values upon one cycle. So standardize the unit, then scale the value if required, standardize the precisions, then standardize the text, that is extra character is available in the any data, then it will be can be removed. Then standardize the case, that is uppercase, lowercase, then title, sentences, then standardize the formats, that is the 23 like this. Then fix the invalid values, encoding Unicode properly, then convert the incorrect data types, that is string to number, number to date, string to date, correct the value in the list, that is pin code wrong structure. Then like mobile number is a 10 digit. If we have the more less than or more than the 10 digit, then it will be a wrong structure, so it will be a neglected. Then correct the value beyond the ranges, then validate the internet values. And last, the filter the data, that is duplicate data, filters row, filter columns, aggregate the data. So now we will first start with the programming, that is Google Colab. Everyone's know about the Google. So Google has started their new services, that is cloud programming. So that is available by the Google Colab. Google is quietly aggressive in AI research. In the many years of development of AI framework called TensorFlow and the development tool like Collaboratory. Today, TensorFlow is open source, and since 2017, Google made a Collaboratory free for the public. So Google has started the Colab for the free, and they have the GPU unit and also GPU, that means the graphical processing unit. So you can process the high amount of data from Google Colabs. Then what is Colab offers? That is they have the right and execute the code in the Python language. Then document your code that support mathematical equations. Then create and upload said notebooks. You can create your code in Google Colab, and that can be shared to your faculty or else members, or you can start programming into a team by sharing everyone notebooks. And also you can download that notebooks. Then you can also publish it on Google GitHub. Then you can directly import the data set from the Kaggle. You doesn't need to download the data or upload into a drive. But and also there is an integrated PyTorch, TensorFlow, Keras, and OpenCV libraries that are inbuilt in the Colab, the free cloud services with GPU, graphical processing unit. So it is easy to work with the Colab, Google Colab, in the online platform. So you can access your code from anywhere. So now start, first open the following URL in your browser, that is https collab.research.google.com. As you can see, I am opening in my browser, that is collab.research.com. Here is the collab.research.com. Say, so if you enter this URL, hit this URL, that will be a connect to here. So here is an example, recent documents, Google Drive, GitHub, and you can upload your notebook also. On at the end, there is a new notebook is available. So you can take this new notebook. The new notebook is created. Here is the new notebook. Here is the name. You can change here the name like PRG program 1, program 2, or elsewhere you can write down here your program name. And here is the code. You can write down the code here, like I have written a is equals to 10, then b is equals to 20. Then you can add the plus button, plus code. So the new code line will be added. So c is equals to a plus b. So now if you have to add the information like what this code is indicate, so you can directly put the text like this sum, or you can bold it. Then the sum is stored. So you can comment each and every line of the code by using text command also. So here you can up down your code rows also, or you can delete it from here also. So if you have to run it, then directly run the command. So here the initialization process is done, connected to a Python 3 computer engine. The RAM will be a 12 GB and disk will be a 107 GB. So they will provide you a 12 GB RAM and around 100 of GB of hard disk for temporary use of this Colab notebook. So as you can get, then I have to print C. So I have written print C over here. So here 30 will be a source. So next, in the right left hand side, you have the files here button. So if you click on that, you are going to hear the sample. You are in this directory. If you have to connect your Google Drive, here is a mount drive option. So you can directly click on this and connect to Google Drive. Mounting Google Drive. And your drive will be a mounted. My drive. So here is my whole drive. So you can directly mount your drive also. Another feature of the Colab is in the runtime. There is the change runtime type. That is, you can select the GPU and TPU. That is graphical processing unit, and TPU is a higher hardware than GPU. So you can use your code, GPU codes, and everything from here. And here is the share button. From the share button, you can share to your any friends or any members. Okay, and in the file section, you have the option like download in IPYNB and download in PY format. So you can download your code to this also, and also you can save a copy to a GitHub to your account also. So here is the features of Colab, that is we have shown, that is colab.research.google.com. Note down this URL, so that will be helpful for online coding of the Python. So you doesn't need to install any softwares like PyCharm or this. You can directly use Google Colab. It's provide you the Jupyter notebook environment. So here is, we have shown that the new Python notebook, then renaming the notebook, then writing the code and running the code, executing the code. Then we have the options like code add, text add. Then we have to up down. Then we have the delete button to delete that cell. Then changing the environment, as we have shown the Python as a GPU, TPU. Also you can change the runtime type Python 3 to 2 also. And here is the GPU and TPU also. So hardware and runtime type you can change over here for your code. Then another thing is, if you have to upload any file, then you can use this command, that is from Google Colab import files, upload it, that is equals to files dot upload. So here is the upload menu will be open. Then from choosing the file, you can choose your own file and upload it into your drive. And for mounting of drive, the another code is here. You have to click on the left side, or else you have to mount that code from this code also, from Google Colab import drive, then drive dot mount. So the drive will be a like allow your account, then the one token will be generated, and then token you have to put into the Colab. So drive will be mounted. Then I have saved and download the file. For in the download section, from the file section, download IPYNB or PY. You can download in two formats. So now we will start with the session, that is data acquisition. So first of all, for data acquisitions, we have the Panda library. Using Panda library, we can complete 5 typical steps. That is load, prepare, manipulate, model, and analyze. So first of all, you have to download these two datas. That is, first data is a site.google.com site desk pocket download income data, and the second one data is the Aries data. The first of all data, that is indicate the income of various state from 2002 to 2015, and it's contain 51 observation and the variable is 16. While in Aries data, the data is compromises 150 observation with 5 variable, and we have the 3 species of the flower. So data containing the 3 flower species: height, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width. So there is a 5 variables and 150 observations. So let's we start with the programming. So if you have to get the data from directly from any link, you doesn't so you have to not need to download in your PC, or into your upload into your Google Drive. You can directly download by code also. So for that we have the command wget. So wget, then write down the link of the code file. So http sites Google sites pocket world income.csv. So the data will be downloaded, and you can see here over here the income data is in your drive. So it can be directly by running the code, you can download any data. So you doesn't need to download in your local. So after loading your data, first of all import panda as pd, then pd read csv. So here is read csv is a command. Read csv is a command for reading the csv files. CSV file is nothing but a data file that we have downloaded over here. So by income.head command, head command will be display first 5 values of our data. So first of all import panda as pd. So in the Python programming language, the structure of program is like as you have in the C programming language, like you have written like has include particular libraries. Then that library will be used into a program. So here is also the Python will provide you an environment in that you can directly import the libraries and use it into a program. Whichever library you have imported, you can use it into a code. So here we have first imported the panda library, that is panda as pd. Then after we have written pd as pd, that means pd is my variable. We have assigned it for the panda. You can assign it pd or else any character. You can write down over here x y y z also. So after that you have to write pd dot the function name. Function name is read csv. So it will be read the income file, and head command will be show the whole over data. So here is the data, that is the state, year, and this is the income. From this is the different states data. So now we will be data processing. Start with the data processing. So first of all, if you have to extract all the columns, you have just income dot columns. It will be extract all the name from my data. Then extract the row. This is the column extraction. If you have to extract the row, then row can be accessed by loc command. Loc colon 2, that means 2 column will be extracted. In Python they will start with the 0. So you have to always know about that. Python will work with the 0, 0 1 2 3. They will start with the 0. So here is first 0, then 1, then 2. So our, if we have to extract the 5 row, then we have to write over here dot loc colon 5. Then extract the column, that is ilog. For row we have the log command, and for column we have the ilog command. But here we have to write down colon two times, first column, then after we have to provide the range. So it will be a show you the column first and column second, that is index and state. So here is for the data type of the our data, we have just d types. D type will show you each and every column data types, and we have to assign or change any data type of the data. Here we have all the integer 64 data, but if we have to convert into a float, then particular column I have to access by income y 2008 year data, income y 2008 dot as type command. So here as type command will be convert your data type into the float. So our data will be converted into the float from the as type command. So you can access all your rows from dot data dot particular row name, then assigning type. So now start selecting the particular column, we have the income in the bracket, the column itself, column name. If we have to extract the state column, then you have to over here write down state. So the state column will be extracted. If you have to do a multiple columns, then you have to write down the two big brackets, and in between you have to write down the column names. So that column names will be extracted. So here we have extracted the data from its name. But if we have to extract it without name, we can use as a previously ilog command. Ilog command will also work for that. Here you can access from the name, and from ilog command you can access with the number. So now if we have to change any column name, then we can use str replace string replace command. Str dot replace y equal to year. So each and every data we have the column name, y 2002, y 2003, y 2004, and we have changed it over here y year 2002, year 2002. So we have replaced y with the year. So that is done with the str dot replace command. So now removing the column rows. So first of all, we have the income, then the drop the data. The drop data command will be a work to drop any column. So here we have dropped the index column. So here the index column, that will be a drop by this command. Then if we have to drop the rows, we can use drop command, but in the big bracket you have to write down the row numbers, that is 0 1 2 3. So as we can see, the 0 1 2 3 rows will be removed, and they will start with the 4 5 6. So 0 1 2 3 rows will be removed from this command. So for dropping the column, we have to just write down the column name, but if we have to drop the rows, then we have to write down the into a big bracket their numbers. Then sorting the value. For sorting the value, we have the command sort values. So here we have write down income sort value state. So all the state will be assigning false. Here we have write down assigning false. That's why they will show you a W first. So it will be a like Z, Y, like this. So the assigning is false. If we write the assigning is true, then it will be from the A, B, C, D alphabetical orders. So sort value command will be work to assigning or descending any columns values. Then next is a add column. If we have to add any column, so here we have a year of 2012, then we have to write down over here new column, add new column. Then we have just added the income, the column name, and the values what we have to put in that. So our income dot different column will be added into this data. Sorry. Sorry. So describing the data, for describing the data, we have the command describe. Income describe. So they will show you each and every column, count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, 25%, 50%, 75%, and maximum. So these will show you, describe command will show you all the data's descriptions. What is its count, what is its mean, what is its standard deviation, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value. So you can directly use this command, describe command. Then filtering of the data. If we have to, in the index column, we have the different alphabets, that is A, B, C, D. So we have to filter the A value data, that the income dot index equals to A. So A data, index A data, that will be provided to us. If we write down over here B, then B data will be filtered from all over the data. Then now we will start the next example, that first of all we have to create the data frame. How to create the data frame? So data frame will be created by numpy library, that is import numpy as np. Then we have write it in the curly bracket crop, that is crop names, rice, wheat, barley and maize. Then yield, that is yields, how much the production is done, that is 10. The values different. Then cost. In the cost we have written over here the nan value, one nan value, that is np nan, that is na value. So as the converted this data into a data frame, we will use pd dot data frame in the bracket data. So it will be a converted into a tabular form crops. So here is our data in tabular form. So in that in the wheat row there will be the one value cost, that is the nan. So we have to remove this value. This is called null value. So if we upload any data that is containing also null value, so we have to direct remove all the rows that is containing the null value. So first of all we will find out the null value, then after we will remove it. So for the find outing null values, we will use crop.isNull command. So they will check each and every rows data and provide you one annotations for each and every data values. So they will show you false, 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 false. But here over the true. That means this is the null command. So here you can detect only you have not removed the data or fill the data null data, but here you can detect. Then crop not null command, that will show you the all the true not null values. Then whichever is null, that is false. Then crop null sum, the null then sum, this command will be a addition of each and every row's null values. So crop row have no null value, yield row have no null value, but the cost row have the one null value, so they will count as a one. If we have a multiple null value, then it will be show the count of all the values. So this is the is null dot sum command, will be a directly summation of all the null values. Then drop. So I have to drop this null value. Then we will directly use crop dot drop na. So in earlier we have used the drop command to remove any column or rows. But if we have to remove the null command columns, then we will write down drop na. Then how is any? So any, that will be a wheat row that is removed. Here wheat row is removed. So our data is 3. So now crop dot cost fill na value unknown, please. If we have to put the value, fill the value, null value, then we will use the fill na command, fill na. That is crop cost fill na value unknown. Or you can write down over here any cost value also. Then after dealing with the duplicates, so first of all data pd data frames items, these are the different items, that is tv, washing machine, mobile, tv. Then the prices. So here we have created a one data frame that has the columns of item and prices. Then data, then drop duplicates, the keep first, then the item, then the prices. So over here, sklearn library we will use for the pre-processing. sklearn pre-processing function will be pre-process our data. So first of all, wget command to get these arrays data. So now we will read this arrays data by read csv command, and the arrays head command that will show the 5 values. So now sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and here is the spaces. So arrays data spaces unique values, you can show over here unique values. Santosa, vesicolor, virginica, these are the different flower species. So is the sepal length, sepal width, petal width. Here are the future of that command. So we have read this data, arrays data. Now we will pre-process it from the sklearn library. First we have shown the panda library. Then now over here we will show the advanced pre-processing that is done by the sklearn pre-processing function. That is from sklearn import pre-process. Then we have the label encoder, pre-processing label encoder. Label encoder works with the, you can write down the unique values. Here we have the unique values Sentosa, Vesicolor and Virginica in the species column. So we will over here put it to a numerical value for that label that we are using the label encoder. So first of all, label encoder equal to preprocess dot label encoder. Then the label encoder is a function. So label encoder dot fit transform. Fit transform command fit the value and transform the column to a particular labels. So array spaces column we have given as an input. So it will be a further added to a spaces column. So arrays dot unique. Then as we can show the array will be converted into a 0, 1 and 2. So over here you can see the values that will be a 0, 1 and 2. We have encoded this label to 0, 1, 2 by using label encoder command from sklearn pre-processing. So now if we have to scalar, standard scalar and normalization, two methods are the methods. So you can these methods are used to pre-process data also. So first of all you have to write down sklearn import pre-processing, then import numpy, then we have one the extrain data that is np arrays. This is the data. Then pre-process standard scalar fit extrain. So now fit extend command will be a standard scalar, all the values, and scalar dot transform extend scale value. So this is the transformed matrix. If we have to normalize, then we will pre-process normalize function. Then we will give the data column. So it will directly normalize. Normalize means maximum data will be divided by whole the data. So you can standard scalar and normalize the data by using sklearn pre-processing function. So last of data presentations. So last part is data presentations. So how you can present your data. This is the most important. For that we are using Seaborn library. So Seaborn library is providing you visualization, color patterns, plots, statistical graphs, relational plot, categorical plot, distribution plot, regression plot. What is relations plot? That is the relation between the two. Then categorical plot is like deal with the categorical values and how they will be visualized. Then distribution plots, then regression plots. So first of all, we will show the relation and distribution plot. So here is the arrays data that we have loaded earlier. Now we will load the library data, that is sns.load dataset fmri, and mri.head command will be show you the 5 values. The data containing subject, time point, event, region and signal data. So we will plot sns line plot. Line plot command will be plot lines, that is x is time point, y is signal point, hue is region point, style is event and data is mri. So you can write down over here x, y, then hue, styles, and then you have to give the data. So in the data they will x as a time point, y is a signal, and plot these data. So region and event. Then sns import cbonds as sns. SNS displot arrays sepal length. So arrays sepal length here is a displot. Displot command here is a line plot, here is a displot. Displot command show you like graph like this. Then regression and categorical plots. So first of all, regression plot for SNS load dataset. We have the dataset, then x and y. So lm plot command will be used to plot the regression plot. So here is our data and here is the regression line. Lm plot command we can directly plot any regression data. Then for the arrays data we can plot swarm plot. Swarm plot also plot the data. Here is the Sentosa data, here is the vesicular data, and here is the, so in the x-axis we have the petal length, and the y-axis, that is we have the species. So however you can directly you can got the visualization, that is the Virginica data, that is range from 5 to 7, while the vesicular data is range from 3 to 5, while the Sentosa data is range from 1 to 2. So these are the different plots, that is swarm plot and the strip plot. Strip plot also will be visualize our data. That is nothing but we have the plotted the x as a label and y as a data. That is strip plot. Swarm plot, strip plot, and ln plot all are the regression plot that will be use the regression data. So now the bar and the count plots. For we have loaded the default data SNet load data dataset tips. Then we have shown the head command to show the data. Now we will use bar plot, SNS bar plot. In that we have provided the x and y, then data. So male and female will be a show into the bar. Then the count plot will be a count each and every values. So here we have used the count plot command. They will command how many males and how many females in our data. So they will directly count and plot it. For that we will use the count plot command from SNS, that is Seaborn library. Then box plot. Box plot will also show you the day, why, total bill, data from, and hue smoker. So smoke or not. So smoke or not, that graph will be provided by this. So Thursday, that will be a smoke and not. Friday, smoke or not. So this is the box plot. So we have the bar plot, count plot, box plot. These all plots are used to plot the categorical data. So now we have the job opportunities for this, as you have the technology in the education sections, in the research, in the government entities, non-profits, then manufacturing, retailer, advertising, automotive, finance, in the healthcare industries. These all are the areas where we can use this. In the Vadodara, there is the job opportunities from the Nielsen. You can directly apply to a Nielsen for the data scientist. Then hybrid workshop. Also, you can show the different types. There is a today. There is a huge amount of data that will be uses the company to analyze its production and then selling, then market strategies. All can be predicted by the data. So data is everywhere. So you can easily get the job from the data scientist. Thanks you all. If you have any questions, just write down over the message box or you can directly ask to us. Here is my contact number and email ID. If you have any queries, you can visit to my company related to the data or anything. Once again, thanks of all. Hello. Hello. Hello, sir. Completed our webinar. Hello. Can I leave now?
Yes, sir. If it is finished, you can.
Okay, thank you.